the adventures first and explain my reasoning on why I am doing things and why I'm not tackling them down. So we're going to go with the Might of Demacia first. Keep in mind that there's like no, since like this is a roguelite game, there's no absolute way of playing the game, and all runs are going to be different. Okay, so before we even delve deep in the adventure, we have to know that we always, or there's very few adventures that you won't let you select your power first and a champion second. Like this is hidden, but we all know that this is a champion node. This is also a power node, and the other ones are, well, pretty much hidden. These are hidden for true. We can always check what the first champion encounter is and what the second is. So if we check what Ash does, it says round start, the foe has the attack token, Frostbite the player's weakest unit. The foe being the machine, the AI, and the player being us. We are the player. This does not mean the foe refers to the opponent of the AI. Okay? It refers exclusively to the AI because they are our foe. The wording can be somewhat confusing, I guess, but the foe, when the game says foe, it always refers to the AI. So we're going to see what powers we have available for us. Okay, from this, I would like, I would spring my reasoning on 3 of them. For Dragon's Rage, when you summon an ally granted Fury and it's a dragon. Fury is not a bad keyword, but I don't think as Jinx, since the game plan is to pretty much be playing and discarding cards to kill the enemy as quick as possible, I don't think it's the best. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's definitely not the best. So I'm going to check the other options. Wounded Prey. When an enemy with 2 or higher health is summoned, deal 1 to it. Okay, so this is, I will say, pretty good on Jinx's arsenal, mainly because we have some spell damage and our followers are strong enough. But I wouldn't say it's the best unless we had like the 3-star power, since it also deals damage to the enemy units. But since we don't, there's little point in talking about it. So as we currently are, this I wouldn't say is good. Duelist, when you summon an ally, give it challenger this round. This means we can select which followers are going to block our units. From these 3, I don't particularly think any of this is good enough. I don't want to use my reroll yet. I could. There could be like a super strong power waiting me on the next roll, but I don't like using it unless the 3 powers are absolutely terrible. And I don't think these are playable at the very least. I'm between Wounded Prey and Duelist, and I think I'm going to go Duelist. I will explain my reasoning as we start some encounters. Okay, about this hand, it has a good opening because I can play Zonit Arching to discard the Jury Rig, and on the second turn I can play Boomcrew Rookie, and the third turn of course I can play Sunbridger. I won't be playing my hand too fast, because these two cards draw another card for me. When you're playing, let's say, quick or fast decks, you will often come to a point when you are playing cards way faster than what your draw potential is. But with Jinx, that doesn't happen often enough. So we're going to, with this hand, we have to always check, like before preparing our hand, which is something that we didn't do now, starts with the attack token. So now the opponent does, but since they got like 0 mana, it doesn't really matter. I could also not discard Jerry Rig, because like when we play these cards, I don't know if the wording is clear enough, but you can opt to discard a card to draw one. Like I could play Sonic Urchin and not do it by clicking on the skip button, which is the game doesn't do a well job, like a good job at it, because the skip button is like on the background, so we don't have like the feedback, the visual feedback to know this. I'm going to discard, I think, Jerry Rig regardless, because it deals another point of damage to the Nexus due to Jinx's power. Okay, now I think I'm going to play Rocket Border. My reasoning being, I could play Bunker Rookie, but if the enemy blocks... Oh, wait. So, if I play Bunker Rookie and the opponent plays a card to block, they're going to either block Zonit Arching or Scrap Scuttler. Since the AI is going to try to minimize the damage dealt to their Nexus always, they're most likely going to block Zonit Arching, because it's 3 power versus 1. Bunker Rookie also has 1 power, so they're going to probably block the 3 damage. But since the skill that Bunker Rookie has, the deal 2 that the enemy Nexus, doesn't like really care about being blocked or not, they're a safer option than Rocket Border. Now, since this has quick attack, it's going to take care of the blocker regardless of the unit it plays, because as we said previously, since it has quick attack, they can strike before the enemy can. Now, if I play any of these, like either of these, I mean Bunker Rookie or Rocket Border, then going to have the challenger keyword once they're played. If I play this one, I'm going to have a 3 power quick attack unit on my board, and that means I can choose to kill them or not. So I think it's a safer option. I'm going to have 3, 1, 4 damage to the Nexus, so it's going to drop to 4. And Rocket Border is going to be 0 damage if a unit blocks it. But once we play the card, it's going to deal 1 damage to the Nexus. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, since the opponent doesn't play any cards, we win the game. Now, if the opponent had played a card, we will just like acted like we said we would. Now, as the adventure goes on, this is something I mentioned previously, our deck is going to get bloated in a sense, so we should to go in a direction that makes sense in terms of what we are trying to do. Mystic Shock is a pretty good spell. It's a 2 tap to anything, but it costs 2 mana. I think this is high for a spell that's not really like flexible, since we're going to try to kill followers and drop spells as soon as possible. This is not a bad card, but Jinx at the moment doesn't have like enough mana to spend on followers and spells. For Chief is a 1-cost card, and a strike refills 1 spell mana. If I had 4 Chief before Mystic Shot, I will go to Mystic Shot. If I had Mystic Shot in my deck and I came upon for Chief, I will pick them. Fury of the North is pretty much discarded because I don't really care about like making my units survive the round, and it's way too expensive for me to consider it. So I like between these 2 options. I would prefer Forge Chief, mainly because it's going to add another 1-cost card to my deck, which means I get to play more cards in a turn if I can. Like if I get a bad hand and I can't play that many cards early in the game, I would prefer to have higher chances of drawing low-cost cards, so I'm going to for Chief. Again, I wouldn't say Mystic Shot was a bad call, but it's like up to personal preference. So from these ones, you can always right click or keep your finger tap on the screen if you're playing on mobile to check what these do. So none of these I think play well with Jinx, especially Lee Sin does like bad, I believe, because I don't really like this. Is not a bad follower, but I don't care about increasing my allies' health, and this is kinda redundant since we already choose power that lets us challenge units, and Lee Sin is way too expensive for me to really care about it. So I believe we're going to with either Nico or Kaisa. Nico is based on subtypes, which is this word right above the cards. Not all of them have it. Like if you check Jinx's cards, they don't have like any of them has a subtype, which isn't inherently bad, but it just happens. And it doesn't like synergize with our playstyle. We don't really care about growing units big, and we don't have to. And even if we did, we don't have the tools to do so. Voidlings aren't really strong. Payday isn't particularly good, and Kaisa doesn't like really synergize with our deck. So, with all of this said, I'm going to pick Kaisa here, because Voidling is a cheap card, which I already mentioned does well with Jinx's power, and Payday, Lucky Find, isn't bad per se, because we can like roll a good like keyword or just get like an overwhelm or stats anyways. But what I'm considering here is like I pay Payday, like I play Payday and then I play Lucky Find, and that's 2 cards I'm playing, so it's 2 damage to the Nexus. Kaisa, well, if I get to the 5th round, she will most likely come online, and she will buy pretty much anything on the board. We have some keywords to trigger the evolve here. which are I won't say like keywords. I will just have quick attack. So I don't necessarily think Kaisa is good here, but it's like better than the other two options. Okay, so we have Lucky Bore here, which means 1 unit survives damage, 1-0, and when top unit in the foe's deck, 1-0. Both of these encounters could possibly make their units grow big as the match goes on. As Jinx, we don't really care about the enemy units growing strong or not. We're trying to wipe them before they even can. So what I usually try to do is go for the event that will make our deck as strong as possible, even if the encounter is hard. These two, you have no way of knowing if you're not an experienced player or just new. Solitary Monk makes it so we can choose to remove a card from our deck. If you check the deck we're currently playing, I wouldn't say we have anything I would like to remove. Maybe as just like maybe Void Links. Like I really dislike this card in Jinx's deck, so maybe we could go there to remove the Amateur Aeronaut. On the other hand, if you aren't experienced enough, you have a healer node here, which means you are going to mitigate the damage you're taking. We also are going to find a healer node here because there's always one, or almost always one here before the mid-pass fight. So it's really like up to you. Do you prefer to play it safe, or do you prefer to grow as big as possible? I'm going to for Plucky Power here because of what I just mentioned. Okay, I like this hand. I don't think I care about Rocket Border here. Like, I'm fine with these two cards dying. And we have too many 2-cost cards on one card. I would like something else to play. That doesn't mean that Rocket Border is just a weak card. Like, they are pretty strong when it comes to trades because you don't really lose anything. Okay, so now sadly I didn't get any spells, so I'm going to play Bunker Rookie here. My reasoning being the following. Okay, if the opponent had played a follower here, I could like challenge them with Bunker Rookie. So Fort Chief has like free access to hitting the Nexus. But that will also mean that if he attack here and the opponent play a card with tough keyword, which reduces damage by 1, I wouldn't be dealing any damage with Bunker Rookie. So I will be just growing the unit strong. So let's go with what we got now. We're going to have 1 spell mana. Okay. Even if we know or check what the powers are from different counters, they're most likely going to have a deck that synergizes with the power itself. Like, this is 2 powers, so we can kill it with any of our followers. So we're going to just bait, so to speak, the opponent. They're going to attack because they don't have the AI doesn't see any way of we killing the ally they're playing. So we're going to play Boom Boom. I mean Pow Pow and kill them. What I would have done here if I didn't had Pow Pow, I think I would have played Jury Rig or Blood with Fort Chief to have one an extra spell mana. The other option was to block with Boom Kuruki, because they wouldn't die, and I think if I had 2 spell mana just now, so I will have 4 mana going to the next round, and it only goes up to 3 when it comes to spell mana. So I'm going to play Igor Apprentice to have another extra follower and deal 1 damage to the Nexus. Now I pretty much can attack now and just win, so I think this is the safest option. If the enemy would play something here, let's say to one of our followers, so it will kill it, we could play Pow Pow to that follower in order to add an extra point of damage to the Nexus, since we have this power here from Jinx. Or we could play Jerry Rig like right away too, since it's burst speed, so it can attack like just from the get-go. Okay, so we just didn't care about Sonic Wave earlier because of the it doesn't synergize really well good enough with what we currently have. So I'm disregarding Sonic Wave here again. This buff, like faded, means when you target, like this says, when you target an elite card, rand 1/1. This can occur every turn, and it's like a strong keyword to have. But my issue is that Jinx doesn't have like any buffing cards, and that the only one we have, Payday, will be like it is good on almost all cards. I don't want either to like, since I'm adding 2 copies of a card, like I'm adding 2 Swamp Dredgers, I don't want a card with that high of a cost. It's not that high, like it's only 3. But we're trying to play mostly with low cost cards. So I would incline to Flame Spitter because, one, if a unit isn't blocked, or regardless of if it's going to strike an enemy, impact is going to deal some damage. But the +2 power means we can play it on to either win a trade, like kill an enemy unit that wouldn't die otherwise, or we can play it on an ally that isn't blocked for extra damage, and it has Pyromantic Wake, which means 3 extra damage to the Nexus. I like this one better, even if these 2 are like good. But we have to consider another thing here, is that the mid boss here is Ashe, and she's going to Frostbite, which reduces the follower's power to 0 for the turn being, which means like the strongest unit on our board is going to drop the power to 0 each round. This means that whatever we do to our followers to grow them big is not going to matter that much on this encounter at the very least. So I'm going to play it safe for Flame Speeder. I don't really care about Amateur or not. Like it's not a bad card, but I prefer to have more like access to my other cards. I wouldn't get rid of it if I had I was certain that I will encounter some elusive opponents such as Teemo. This card is really good against Teemo because it can block him. But it is not the case here. Okay, so this card we can see pretty much what it does. When they summon another ally, they grant this ally challenger, and since the foe starts with the card, it means that when they play another follower, they are going to have a 2-power challenger unit. So this means our low health units are most likely going to die right away. Okay, this hand isn't quite optimal. We don't have access to Jinx's base cards or early base cards. Sunbreaker, I guess, counts as one, but we have 2 Sunbreakers and 1 Voidling, and Kai'Sa is too expensive for my game plan to work, so I'm going to get rid of these 2. I don't mind having a Voidling, I don't mind having a Sunbreaker. Okay, this isn't ideal, but it's not bad. Okay, so we didn't have any way of knowing that this card has an stuffed leather item, but it does, so not much we can do. When you check what Boiling does, we haven't really checked the card. It says when in hand I have a random keyword that changes each round. When I'm summoning, grant me this keyword. So if you play Boiling right now, it's going to have regeneration keyword, and none of these our cards have regeneration, so we're going to play it just because it has the keyword Impassion. Now, there's plenty of other keywords we will like more than regeneration, mainly because Vitling doesn't have like, it makes so the health on the card grows to its maximum value on round end, but this has only 1 health, so it's kind of useless. Okay, I would like to play Fort Chief now. I can attack with the Fort Chief and make a trade here to get rid of the Fleet Feather Tracker that already has the Challenger buff. I don't want to attack with Voidling because I'm not going to kill this unit, so I'm just going to lose a unit, and that means I'm going to potentially lose a blocker for the incoming attack. I have no 2 spell mana, I mean 2 total mana, but I don't think playing Payday now has any value, because I would like the buff to go on to another unit. Voidlings are too weak. Okay, this card grants Challenger to an ally in hand. I don't know which ally, I just know they have a buff. Since this is 3 power and Sunbreaker has 3 health, I wouldn't like to play it. If I play Eager Apprentice, I'm going to lose 1 spell mana in exchange, and I don't have any way of like playing Payday after they attack, because this is focus speed, which is instantaneous, but only if you're not in combat. I would say my safest choice here is to play 1 Payday, see what buffs Boiling gets. Nothing useful, but we're going to go for Tough to have more buffs in the evolve, towards the evolve completion. So I'm going to now play Eager Apprentice, and I'm going to just trade the unit, honestly. We didn't like win this round in terms of damage dealt, but keep in mind our goal most of the time is going to survive the encounters without losing as much health as possible. I can now play some Dredger and discard a card, but all of these cards I don't I like. I could play some Dredger without discarding a card, but in which case I won't really would like to play him at all. So I'm going to go with Jinx. And I think I'd like to risk getting a good keyword here. Kirsami isn't really useful. She already has quick attack, so I will choose Spell Shield. Spell Shield is good most of the time. Like 90% of the time you're going to like Spell Shield. I'm going to kill the Fleet Feather Tracker, because if I don't, they're going to challenge me next round and Jinx is going to die. C3 isn't able to kill Jinx, but she will be blocking Jinx because this is a 2-2 follower and this is 3-1. So okay, so Lauren Duelist granted Challenger to this unit. Now this card isn't exactly strong as an ally, but it allows the opponent to gain tempo because now they had 2 followers on the board. I only have Jinx to block. I'm going to go with some Dredger and discard Eager Apprentice. If I had dealt 1 more damage to the enemy, I will not have lethal, which is why I tried discarding a card with some Dredger, because this is going to deal 3 damage from Pyromantic Wake and 1 damage from Jinx's power. I can now win pretty much by doing whatever. I can just play Pow Pow to kill a unit, then play this spell and they're going to die. Another option was to play Kaisa, but I don't think I had any way of leveling her up. Okay, so among these 3 cards, I would say the one that makes the most sense with Jinx's playstyle is Clump of Womps, because they're going to draw a card which, with this item, they're going to draw a card which help us. Mushroom Cloud is a cheap spell, and this deal damage directly to their Nexus. That said, this card is good for decks that want their units to grow big, but we won't be able to because we don't have, like, if we draw this card at the beginning, this has fleeting, so it's going to be a wasted card, a wasted draw. Okay, so for Ghostly Paramore, I don't really like this card that much, like, but it has enormous value with Lifesteal. Why? Because Lifesteal is about the only way you have other than spells that heal you, which are pretty rare, that makes you like sustain yourself during like an adventure. We don't have that many tools to keep us alive overall. The only reason I'm not picking Ghostly Paramore is because Jinx wants to play fast before the opponent can get to a dangerous point. So I'm going to with Club of Womps. Now I have 300 gold and I have the choices: going to the shop or going to the item chest. When it comes to the shop, I could probably get some cards I want, but when you start, the shops offer, I believe, like 3 cards and that's it. So if you don't get any good cards, it's kind of a wasted visit to the shop. Later on, the shop will offer more items and that's when it gets interesting. But as of now, I think the item chest is better. Okay, these 3 are actually good. The Clump of Womps, sorry, is the weakest one because I don't really want to draw 2 cards from playing one mainly because I don't think I will have enough mana to play them. Payday healing myself is good. It's actually pretty good. Because we don't have any other sustain. I know I said I wouldn't like to have like the sustain follower just now. But keep in mind, playing a follower and having a heal regardless of where you're doing are two different things. I was going to most likely play Payday anyways, so the heal is something that happens like in parallel, so to speak. But I'm going with Pau Pau because this adds 1 extra copies, and I really like Pau Pau in Jinx's deck, and it gets Pyromantic Wake, which is what I want, to deal as much damage to the enemy nexus as possible. The healing nodes heal you for, I believe, 25% of your total health, rounded down. Now, Ash's encounter, you have to play around a bit. You won't be able to like beat it just by throwing stuff at her. Okay, so we can only play Zonid Arching here, and that's what we are going to do. We're going to discard Rocket Border because even if we play them in the future for favorable trades, they're most likely going to be frostbitten most of the time. So, and keep in mind, I do want to deal as much damage as possible to the Nexus before they can ramp up. If I attack now, they're going to block with Omen Hawk regardless, so I might as well just kill them. If I hadn't killed them, maybe the opponent doesn't block and I get frostbitten now this turn. But I don't want to risk it right now. I'm going to play Eager Apprentice. No, I think I'm going to go with Fort Chief, because if they attack, they're going to into an unfavorable trade. Okay, so now I get to play. I think Eager Apprentice is a safer option. I could play Subdredger, but I don't want to discard any of these cards I got. I need blockers before they can grow strong enough. I don't really care about the opponent dropping Ash because I have access to Pau Pau. And even if I didn't, I could like drop a unit, challenge them, and most likely kill them if they don't have a way of frost by me. Since I don't have enough information on what does the opponent have in their hand, I'm going to work with the assumption of that they do have something. Like, okay, now they don't at all. They're going for this unit because other than its 1 health, it's the only unit that has Challenger this round. So I'm going to play attack with Fort Chief. The opponent most likely is going to block with Avaros and Marksman. And when it does, I'm going to play Flame Speeder to 1, kill them, and 2, deal more damage to their Nexus. I don't really want to play Pau Pau without killing this, since I want to play it on Ash when she drops. And if I attack with Zonid Arching too, they're going to die to Iceville Archer, and I don't want to have 0 blockers. So now I play Flame Speeder, they're going to die, and I get to do 1 extra damage because of the impact keyword. I don't want Ash getting to attack here, because it means she will frostbite me again. It won't actually matter because I'm already at 0 power, but it's going to count towards the 5 units that she needs to level up. So I'm going to kill her instantly. And the opponent is at 2 health now, so if I place some Dredger and discard the other some Dredger, I'm going to drop them to 0 and I win the encounter. Keep in mind, many of the plays I'm doing is because I already know them. Like I kind of already know how the game is going to go. But if you don't, it's pretty likely that you will be losing some matches. That's pretty normal in a game with such nature. You don't have a way of knowing what's going to happen, so it's pretty much trial and error. From this, I don't really. I mean, I like this one on Jinx. It could mean that I get to play her earlier in the game, but I think I will be safer with dropping a spell. After a match, after an encounter versus champions, regardless if it's mid-boss or, well, I mean, it doesn't mean much after the boss, but you heal back to full. So keep in mind that even if you end up with like 1 health after the encounter, you will be strong enough. Okay. There are 2 powers here that are strong with Jinx. Arcane Empowerment, which is kinda new, means that Pow Pow is going to deal 4 damage. And it doesn't affect our Jinx's power. It's always going to deal 1 damage to the enemy nexus. But it does affect Pyromantic Wave from what I've seen before. So this is one option for sure. The other one will be Raiding Party, which says when you damage the enemy nexus, grant the top ally in your deck 1/1. Since we're constantly dealing damage to the nexus, it means that anytime we play a card, it's going to grow the ally on top of the deck constantly. Both of these are good. If you don't have much experience with the game, I will go with Raiding Party, because you're most likely going to lose some units. Units have Hollow, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make much sense. Hollow is a keyword that makes it so when a unit dies, you start stacking Hollow. And when you attack, the leftmost unit on your attack board is going to get 1/0 for every stack of Hollow. I'm going to go with Arcane Empowerment. It's riskier, but I think I can end the matches before it gets too hairy. Unscarred River, neither of these are hard encounters. Like I don't think they're threatening for Jinx. But since I like playing around their rewards, I don't really care about another champion chest. When you add an item to your champion, it also adds an extra copy of that champion. When it comes to Jinx's case, you do want to drop her at some point, but she's not the priority. So I don't really care having 1 extra copy, but I do want to see if I get a strong item for the cards I already have. So I'm going to go with Unscarred River here. Other than the Voidling, this is a good hand. But I think I'm going to keep it so I can discard something with Zonid Arching because I want to keep the other 2 cards. Okay, so how does... Oh, so she isn't here yet. Okay, the opponent doesn't play any cards, so I'm going to attack with Zonid Arching. That's 5 damage in 1 turn. Okay, if the opponent attacks now, they have 0-1 because of their power proving grounds. So this is 3-3. They're going to die because I can block with Zonid Arching. So I'm going to go with Eager Apprentice here and block with Zonid Arching. They're going to draw a card. And remember, I now did 4 damage to the enemy nexus. I can play Zonid Arching now and discard Jerry Rig. This is going to give me 2 points of damage to the enemy nexus, dropping it to 12. If I don't, and I play Jerry Rig right away, I'm going to deal 1 damage and 1 extra damage since the Jerry Rig isn't going to be blocked. If I play Zonid Arching, they're going to... I'll have to see if they get blocked. But since I have Pow Pow, I can most likely kill the unit right away. So we're going to see what happens. Okay, so they played Kindly Tavern Keeper. It has higher power than I can deal to it with my allies. But since I picked the extra spell and skill damage power, Pow Pow can kill it. So I'm going with Pow Pow. It dealt, I don't know if you can like check the damage to the Nexus. It was 15. Since I played a card, it dropped down to 14. And Pyromantic Wave dealt 4 damage to the enemy Nexus, not 5. I mean, not 3. Now I have to see what the enemy does. Okay, they're going to kill Eager Apprentice. If I play Pow Pow here, they just die, so we're going to do that. Okay, Spirit's Refuge is like a pretty safe card. It's good pretty much on every run because you want lifesteal is a pretty strong keyword on this game. Plus Poro Snacks, even though it's like a random 1-cost Poro, and you don't really care about them being strong or not because you want them as a blocker, like they are a surprise blocker. When the opponent attacks, you can play Spirit's Refuge on a unit you have, and you will have an extra blocker if you don't have another unit to cover it, or you don't want to. You don't really want to lose an important unit. These Flame Chompers is decent, but the item that they have, Giant Spell, doesn't make much sense. On the other hand, I have Pow Pow, which I will go for even if it didn't have Charging Sigil, since I do want more copies of this card. Maybe if the grade was really bad, I wouldn't go for it, but it is good. So it's going to deal 5 damage now, and with Pyromantic Wave it's going to be 5-2. Now we get to see what do we have here. Overwhelm doesn't make much sense on a card on an ally as weak as for Chief is. It's going to only matter when they're blocking with 1 health followers, and this is not the case versus like Garen or other nodes here. Demacian cards tend to be sturdy. Boomcrew Rookie could be. Like it's not a bad idea to strike draw 1, but Boomcrew Rookie, I would like to have copies of other cards other than Bunkuruki. Eager Apprentice, I will always like to have more because they are really useful, especially since I'm running like many Pow Pows in my deck. Now, I have to keep in mind that since I have the extra skill and spell damage, Bunkuruk is going to deal 3 damage here. And I don't really like the item that Eager Apprentice is getting, like Wondrous Blessing. I don't really care about growing my card strong that much. So I'm going to go with Bunkuruki. Since the item, like item chest, only have 1 copy, that's more than I would like to get about. Okay, so I think this card makes sense here. I get to have a fleeting shady character or a fleeting Shempok Shredder here. They're going to cost 3 and 4 respectively. But what's good about this is since fleeting cards are discarded, they're going to deal 1 damage to the opponent regardless of what I do. If I get to play shady character on a strong follower, well, I end up with a strong follower. And if I get to play Shempok Shredder, I'm going to deal 2 damage to all enemies since I have the extra damage power. Arachnoid Sentry is almost always good. Stunning the enemies makes it so you have turn tempo, turn advantage. Sorry. I'm going to go with 1 copy of Discreet Invitation because I don't think I want more than 1, and 1 copy of Arachnoid Sentry. Okay, I don't really care about champion item chests, and I don't really care about Slotbot because I haven't really used my rolls here, and this is what the nut does. It adds, you get to pay to have more rerolls, but I don't really care about rerolls after I'm this far into the adventure. Champion chest, I don't care about when playing Jinx, so I'm going to spend my reroll here in the shop. Now, these cards I like. I'm going to get extra copies, or at the very least 1 extra copy on Zonid Arching, because in case they survive, I get to grow the ally next to them stronger. Now, I've said many times that I don't really care about growing allies on Jinx's deck, but that's at the cost of my gameplay. I'm going to play Zonid Archings regardless, so it makes the most sense to... I mean, it doesn't make the most sense, but it's something that I'm going to do regardless. So if I play another, like, if I attack with another follower to the right, I'm going to most likely deal 1 extra damage. They don't interfere with my game plan here. I don't really know if for Chief makes that much sense here. Single combat could be good here, especially since I'm playing against Garen and they rob stronger with strikes, so they will want to have traits in their favor, but it's 2 mana of spells, and I would rather that to be towards Flamethrower, I think it's called, or Flame Speeder, yeah, Flame Speeder, or Pow Pow, and I have 5 copies of Pow Pow here. Zonid Arching I have 3 copies, which is healthy. For Chief I have 2 copies. Jerry Rig is whatever, Voidlings are whatever. If I had the means to, I will cut Voidling off the deck. By this point, since I'm not building around Kaisa anymore. I wasn't really trying to do it at the like at the start of the adventure, but now it makes even less sense to do so. I think I'm going to go high on Zonid Archins and not do anything else. Among these two, I mean, the champion chest is about the best you can hope for, because the rerolls don't make any sense at this point. Okay, so we don't have any like bad cards on here. So we're just going to go, since we attack, we don't have to worry about the enemy attacking us. Okay, we're just going to go here. Okay, this is potentially to damage our Nexus if the opponent attacks right away. I can just play Igor Apprentice, block the Omen Hawk, and play one pop bottle to get rid of the Starlit Seer. I don't think my pronunciation is quite right. Is it Seer? Oh, Sir. There. I'm going to play... I think I want here to play Sump Dredger and discard Clump of Womp. I can kill this, but dropping it to 1 health will be beneficial. I'm going to lose 1 health myself, but I have the healing node right around the corner, so... Okay, this is 6 health. It's quite bulky. Let's think what we can do. If I play Fort Chief here and he attacks with 1 Scryer, they're going to die, so they won't do so. I'm going to block with Fort Chief and use Pow Pow here. I'm going to get a favorable trade, and they're going to lose their strongest follower. Now, if I play Flame Speeder here, I'm going to win. I could have just done this earlier, I think, because it's 5 damage. If you... no, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, that's one thing. If you pay attention, just now when I played Flame Speeder, it dealt 1 damage when I played the card because of Jinx's power, and it dealt 4 damage to the Nexus because of the Pyromantic Wave and the power I have. But when we played Pow Pow earlier, it dealt 5 damage. That's because Pow Pow has the item, the Sigil, I think, Sigil something, that increases the damage of that set spell by 1. So it affects both the spell and the Pyromantic Wave. From all these cards, we don't really care about any. I think this card requires too much mana to be useful. These cards are very least usable because of the predict. Predict means that when you play this card, as this says, you get to like choose between 3 cards, and you will draw that as at the next draw, which is huge, yeah, considering we are drawing cards pretty frequently. I'm going to go with Champion Chest and see if there's anything I'm actually going to go with this. Even if I end up discarding Jinx, it's going to be 1 damage to the enemy, so... Now, I would most likely don't want to draw her. I would still like to play her if I can. This hand I think is pretty solid. I can use Sonic Arching to discard Voidling. I can turn around a trade with Flame Speeder, and if the opponent has a scary follower, I can get to stun them with Arachnid Sentry. I wouldn't really trade, replace any of these cards. As it stands, no, I don't think so. It's a good card, a good hand. Shut up, Karen. Okay, now I could play Zonid Arching and discard Voidling here, but I will have to let the damage go because I don't wanna. I don't want Zonid Arching to die just to discard. Now, since this is the last encounter, we can be a more little flexible when it comes to the Nexus taking damage. But we don't know what's in for us next. So I'm going to play it safe and play Voidling here. Okay, so now I can play Zonid Arching, and I'm going to... Actually, we could play Rocket Border here and kill... Okay, I played Rocket Border because it has quick attack. So I can pretty much win a trade if the enemy's card is 3 health or lower. Since this is like second turn and we both have 2 mana, we could either kill Cithria or we can kill whatever the opponent plays. In this case was Darran Sculpture. So I'm going to kill this one since she's more threatening than Cithria. I don't want the enemy units to grow stronger as the game goes on. Okay, this card is pretty scary. So I'm going to... I don't want to trade this with this. And I don't want to play Flame Speeder yet. I mean, I could win a trade using this, but I want to use it offensively, not defensively. So I'm going to play Arachnid Sentry and get rid of... I don't mean get rid of, but make it so this card can attack. Let me check if... Okay. I'm going to trade Arachnid Sentry here, because I don't really care about the Overwhelm keyword here. In case you don't know what Overwhelm does, I explained on a previous video, but those really don't count. Overwhelm means that, in this case, if I was the one attacking here, since I have 3 power and the opponent has only 1 health, the 2 remaining points of power will go as damage to their Nexus. That's what Overwhelm does. If she had Overwhelm now, she will kill me and deal 1 damage to my Nexus. So I'm going to commit. When you're confused about some situation, the game's suffering to you, you can always use the Oracle size to get rid of... I mean, you can use it to get rid of visual bugs, and you get use it to see what's going to happen in case you are not understanding why is something going on. At 4 mana, Demacia stands to grow like kind of scary. I'm going to play Zonid Arching and get rid of Discreet, I guess, Discreet Invitation. They're going with a 1-cost card, so I don't know what's in the store for me as of yet. I don't wanna risk it, so I'm going to... I'm going to guess Loyal Butterbear is going to block here. The thing is, I want to try to play Flame Speeder, if that's the case, and kill this guy. But I would like to keep my Flame Speeder to kill Garen when he drops. I can't play Zonid Arching. I mean, I could play... I could attack to kill the Fleet Feather Tracker, but I will lose her as a blocker and as an attacker, and I want to see what the opponent does. If they don't do anything here, like they don't have a card to play, at worst I'm going to wait for the next turn with 3 spell mana, which works for me. If I play Clump of Womp and the opponent plays something, I don't think I'm going to have enough resources to guarantee a win for me. Now, I could play some Dredger and discard Clump of Womps. I'm going to draw another card. I won't have enough mana to play any spells, but I'm going to have a challenging Storm Dredger for 1 turn, and I could kill the Loyal Badger Bear now. I just thought about that. Like, there's no, at least for me, there's no, like, I don't really consider, like, all the plays just as I'm going. I try to, like, talk to myself about what I could do, unless I'm, like, the adventure is really easy, but that's not the train of thought I'm trying to teach to any of you. Okay, this is a bad draw since I don't want to draw Jinx, and there's not really any point like using Solid Arching to block Badger Bear, because she's going to die and this card's going to generate to full health. So okay, we're going to just pass. Garen is going to attack us. We are going to block with either of these two, because he has Overwhelm, so some damage is going to go towards us, towards our Nexus. I'm not going to use Payday yet, and I have Jury Rig to block Loyal Badger Bear, so I don't lose more strong units for me. Okay, I'm going to block with this card. I think I'm going to use this here to kill them, and I'm going to play Jury Rig to block this one. Then I'm going to play Flame Speeder here, so Garen dies. Now we're running short on cards to draw. This could be a good play, I think. Let's see what Lucky Find runs us. Oh, it's actually Overwhelmed. This is a really good buff. So they are standing at 9 health. If I attack, they're going to die. I mean, they're not going to die. I mean, the card is going to die. If they block at 4 health and I have 4 power, they're going to die, and no damage is going to be like going towards their Nexus. But if they block, I can play Flame Speeder, which is 2 extra damage, like 2 extra power, so it's 2 damage going through to their Nexus. 1 impact means 1 extra damage, and Pyromine Wake means 4 damage. So that's 2 plus 1 plus 4, it's 7, I believe. And since we played a card from Jinx's power, it's 7 damage, I think. Now I don't really care what they play at this point, because when I play the next card I play, I'm going to win. So